constant war with the Skrull, and the Skrull are an alien race that basically what they do, they can shapeshift.
Yes.
They can shapeshift, and then what they do is they secretly implant themselves in an alien race or a planet, and they slowly take down the government and take over the planet.
Oh shit!
So, in the Marvel comics, what they did was they actually infiltrated the Avengers by kidnapping Captain America at an early portion of the of the Avengers missions, and they supplanted their own Super Skrull, which had the powers of Captain America and had the ability to shapeshift into Captain America.
Oh, crazy!
So for years, this guy was in the Avengers, and I think they said it was like 5 years.
So what was the real Captain America?
He was basically imprisoned on the Skrull ship. And so the Skrulls started taking out specific members of the Avengers. One of them was
Do you think this is what causes that civil war?
That actually was what happened in the comic books.
Yeah,
that the Civil War was caused because the
By the
Skrull,
Skrulls.
the Captain America Skrull, was the one that was going against the government. And so they find out because, in that comic, Captain America dies. So when he dies, they take him to the morgue, and all of a sudden he reverts back to a Skrull, and they're like, we have a problem here.
Yep.
And then that's when they realize, where's the real Cap?
Yeah.
And so then that's when everything started going, and that's actually the Secret Invasion arc. I highly recommend that. That's an insane arc because a lot of old characters that we thought were dead, they come back, like Mockingbird, a lot of other people like that. So it's great, and the fact that they have them in Captain Marvel is even better because Captain Marvel is another,
Dude, you are really gassy.
I know. I'm sorry. I just had a beer. I just had a beer. Jesus Christ.
Oh my
God. That was America. This is America, isn't it?
Whatever, dude.
Fuck it.
Well, it's like I said. The reason why this is exciting is because the Skrull were originally owned by Fox Studios. The rights for the Skrull were owned by Fox Studios because the Skrull are also in the Fantastic Four universe. So
did they pop up in any of those movies that they made back in the day?
No, they were holding on to them with the idea of eventually making them, but because none of the Fantastic Four movies that Fox let out were actually great, they just kind of held on to them. So now that Marvel officially has the rights to the Fantastic Four back, this is a great indication that they're eventually going to be made into either a movie or a TV series. There's little known on what they'll eventually do, but more on Captain Marvel. A lot of people are kind of confused as to who is Captain Marvel. It's a female superhero. I mean, Foo, you don't really even know who Captain Marvel is, right?
All I know is that it's a female, that she has a lot of powers similar to that of Superman. Is it supposed to be like the Marvel, or is it more like a Shazam type of powers?
No. It's so
because I know it's Marvel, and then because Shazam, it's called Shazam because it used to be called Captain Marvel.
Correct.
And the reason they just reverted to keeping it to Shazam because they didn't want to compete with the
actual title of Marvel. And it's her powers are at least strength wise is on par with like Superman.
All right.
At least in the Marvel universe. There's only like 2 other people from Earth that are as stronger than her. But
we think
her
like Hulk or.
No, there's someone called the Sentry, and then there's someone named Adam Warlock. Those 2 are like one of the strongest beings. The Sentry is actually like a schizophrenic guy that when he officially wants his powers, like he has to say the name Sentry or something like similar to Shazam.
Shazam!
Yeah, but he's actually insane, like clinically insane, schizophrenic.
Okay.
So and he can't control himself sometimes. So back on Captain Marvel, what she is basically, her name is Carol Danvers. She was a pilot, captain for the United States Air Force, and in the comics, what happens is she gets into she stumbles upon a alien spaceship, similar to like how Green Lantern happened. He stumbled upon the alien, crashed and dying.
Yeah.
Instead, she finds someone by the name of Marvel. And she helps save him, like pull him out of the wreckage. He wakes up, he explains himself to her, right? And then all of a sudden, I think it's the Skrull or someone attacks them. She gets injured, and in order to save her life, Marvel transplants some of his blood into her.
Ooh.
And so she ends up getting Scree ability. Well, yeah. creades. And
That's kind of AIDS.
Yeah, so the guy's name was
Maybe.
Marvell, Mar-Vell.
Okay.
So when she found out, she woke up from her coma, and she realized, oh my god, I have these powers. So what he does is he takes her on, and he kind of teaches her. And so then she calls herself Captain Marvel to honor him because his name was Marvell.
Right.
So in the movie, it's supposed to kind of follow. She's already had her powers, and she's part of something called the Star Squad, which are a Kree, special forces unit in space. They haven't really divulged too much on what's really going to happen, but the Skrull are involved. We saw in the trailer there's a young Nick Fury.
That's right.
And a young
Sam Jackson has hair.
Yes, there is. Yeah. And then a young Coulson. So they said in this movie,
right,
Coulson, and this is where Coulson and Fury officially meet. This is their first meeting together, and this is before, as you will see in the trailer, Nick Fury loses his eye.
Oh.
So this is before he becomes the badass that he is.
Yeah, I didn't even notice
becoming
that.
Yeah. So this is set in the 90s, and it's supposed to be a huge tie-in to the next
Shaft
Avengers.
is in this movie?
Right? Just talking about Shaft.
Well, I can dig it.
So it actually comes out March 8th in 2019. So everyone keep that on your calendars. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great movie.
There's a theory that in Thor Ragnarok with Hulk, because he can't transform, that he's an actual Skrull.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Really?
Huh.
Interesting.
Because if you really think about it, he doesn't know how he got there. He just knows that he came on the Quinjet, or the whatever that name. That jet's
the Quinjet.
Name. Yeah. Because he probably just saw it land as a Skrull.
I think that's kind of debunked though, because there's even a scene where it shows the Hulk flying on the Quinjet and landing. So that doesn't add up.
So,
well, my theory sucks.
You're welcome.
Well, does she end up joining the Avengers and become one herself and start leading them?
In the comics, she becomes one of the Avengers, and actually one of the recent runs, there was a Civil War II, and she was the leader of the Avengers.
Okay.
In this incarnation. And in this incarnation, spoiler alert, War Machine dies. He's the one that dies and causes this whole civil war to occur.
Okay.
Because Tony Stark is pissed at her for allowing War Machine to die.
Which he ate shit in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
So that's why it's
Wait. You just said spoiler alert right before you spoiled Captain Marvel for everybody.
What are you talking about? That's not the movie. That's in the comics.
The comics.
I'm sorry, I'm not even paying attention.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, you're not.
Are you drunk?
A little bit.
No.
We're all drunk.
All right.
Yeah, so it's gonna be great. I would definitely.
It's her fault that she kills War Machine.
In the new comics, they go up. They try to take on Thanos, and Thanos uses the Infinity Gauntlet and punches War Machine, and he blows him to smithereens. Pretty much. And so, they basically she's to blame for them even being in that situation. So Iron Man blames her, and that's what causes the complete rift because of what happened.
What a bitch!
Yeah.
Yep, with a capital C.
Oh yeah. Capital C. It makes us learn about our ABC. It makes me think about our ABCs. And where did we learn our ABCs as a kid?
Skew.
In school, but also in our favorite old PBS channel, Sesame Street.
Ooh.
Sesame Street.
As kids, we all were looking at that relationship with Mr. Bert and Ernie and thinking, something don't seem right with that. Something's kind of.
Maybe they. That's the only way they can afford rent.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we all thought. We thought they were just like a iteration of the Odd Couple.
Sure.
Well,
seemed innocent enough.
The former writer and creator, one of the creators of Sesame Street, Mark Saltzman, opened up to some serious and controversial doors recently.
Nuh-uh.
In an
Don't
interview.
say it, man.
So
please say it ain't so.
He confirmed this. This is what he said. I've always felt that without a huge agenda, when I was writing Bert and Ernie, they were. I didn't have to contextualize them, but he says they were gay. And the reasoning he says behind this is that he says it was inadvertently because when they created them, he's like, as we have always said, Bert and Ernie are best friends.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No. That's what he said, was that he based them off of how his relationship was with his partner. He himself
he was
is gay.
too. Okay.
So when he was writing them, he would think of the things that would bother his partner, who Ernie is based off of. Or Bert, I'm sorry.
Right.
Who Bert is based off of. So he would do the things that Ernie would do to piss off his partner. And that's just how it ended up. Like,
he would eat cookies in the bed?
There would be no, like, sexual orientation context to it.
Rubber ducky, you're the one. You make bad time lots of fun.
Well, I'm sure not only that rubber ducky makes bad time fun, if you catch my drift.
Ooh, child.
But apparently the reason why this came up, Saltzman says, was that preschoolers used to actually come up to him, in interviews and stuff, and they would ask. They heard from a writer once. He said, I remember one time that at a column from the San Francisco Chronicle, a preschooler in the city turned to mom and asked, "Are Bert and Ernie lovers?" And that coming from
preschooler said that?
He said, and that coming from a preschooler was fun, and that got passed around, and everyone had their chuckle and went back to
it. That's right.
And he said more than one person referred to Arnie and I as Bert and Ernie. Arnie, that Saltzman refers to, is Arnold Glassman, his partner. So that's where it came from. And so they said at the time when they wrote it, again, that wasn't their intention, but it just came out that way. And they're just like, yeah, all right, they're gay.
Who do you think's? This begs the question.
Oh, who's
the bottom and who's the top?
Ernie kind of seems like a bottom.
I think Ernie's the bottom. Steph?
Ernie knows what's up.
Well, according to Sesame Street, none of this is correct. They sent out released a statement, and they said, as we have always said, Bert and Ernie are best friends. They were created to teach preschoolers that people can be good friends without those who are very different from themselves.
That one is also sexual.
Even though they are identified as male characters and possess human traits and characteristics, as most Sesame Street Muppets do, they remain puppets and do not have sexual orientations.
Nope.
Yeah. I call BS on that.
Sesame Street is pretty progressive.
They are.
You would think they would just be like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, but they're trying. I think right now they want to kind of stay out of that climate with everything that's going on. So, like, a lot of people have, complained. There's been like a fervor. Someone on Twitter at Jora Crew posted. Here's the thing, though. Being asexual is not a limiting orientation, and we can experience intimacy just as high of a level. And so that stirred a bunch of other people to, rise to the occasion. But then you have those wonderful trolls. I love finding those wonderful trolls. And he said,
they just pop out of nowhere, man.
Oh yes. And so he's responding. The name was Mrs. Magoo, and she's responding to a person named Joel that said, "That's not what this is about. You're trying to sanitize and straight wash their program to make palatable to homophobes. You're not helping." So she responded, "I'm sorry, straight wash their program? It's a show for literal 3-year-olds. Why would the Muppets need to have a sexual orientation at all?"
That's true.
And then lastly, Joel countered, "I don't know. Why does the Count, Oscar, Kermit, Mrs. Piggy, and many other characters who have identified as straight? Also, there are literally 3-year-olds with gay parents. What's wrong with them seeing a world that reflects their own?" So again, I could kind of understand both arguments, and then I understand the argument that, okay, Kermit's actually straight. That's been known. He's dating a pig. Again,
he's a frog.
That's mean.
Yeah. Well,
she's a lady, sir.
She's kind-hearted, at least. So that's it for me in nerd news.
Look,
well, thanks, Josh. That was quite informative.
I hope I ruined all your childhoods.
There are 2 adult consenting males.
Yeah, I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not that there's anything wrong with that stuff.
They are appropriate on TV for children.
They are.
So just let them live their fucking lives.
I'm just saying, it's just finally, nice to finally get
nice.
confirmation that what we've always known growing up.
We knew it. We knew it. We all knew it.
Crying out loud, on the cover of the 2013 New Yorker magazine, they were like shown like sitting on a table, like holding, hugging each other, caressing each other. Yeah, while watching like the Supreme Court. I guess that's when they announced that gay marriage was legal.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
yeah, that's why they put it. So it's like, come on.
Yes.
Yeah.